All right, a busy day in the tropics. Here we go. Two named storms today. Hurricane Earl, still a Category 4 hurricane, still battering the islands. Fiona trying to get better organized, but having a tough time doing it. And a strong tropical wave that's moving into the central Atlantic that could be our next named storm by later in the week. But we're concentrating on Earl tonight. Earl still trying to gain more strength, but it is a powerful Category 4, bringing heavy rains and very strong winds through the Dominican Republic and Haiti. They are the latest. This just came out. Great news here, folks. The biggest part of this map is right here, northwest at 14. We've been waiting days and days for this turn. It looks like it's finally started to happen as it starts to ride around that ridge of high pressure. That trend will continue moving at its closest approach on late Wednesday and Thursday to South Florida. We'll get some large ocean swells here, perhaps a landfall around Cape Hatteras late Thursday, early Friday as a Category 2, and then racing up the East Coast, perhaps another landfall in the Canadian Maritimes. That would happen early Saturday morning, just before daybreak, and then washing out very, very quickly after that. Good news with that one. If we can show you, I want to show you the computer models and the tracks. They're in very, very good agreement east of the Bahamas the next 48 hours. After that, there is some divergence, but it's out of our area, so it doesn't really matter. All right, a quick look at Fiona. Fiona still struggling, trying to get better organized. The latest, the winds at 40 miles an hour, moving very fast toward the west-northwest. And that track generally following in behind Earl up into Friday and into Saturday. Much more on these storms coming up. And, of course, your storm team forecast. But Glenn Glazer has also been working on the storms. And what do you have for us tonight, Glenn?
Well, we have a lot going on, Steve. Today, the heads of FEMA and the National Hurricane Center got together for a teleconference. And I got to listen in on that. And afterwards, I had a chance to speak with Bill Reed, the director of the National Hurricane Center. So here's the latest on the preparations for Hurricane Earl. As powerful Hurricane Earl makes its way slowly to the northwest, we are all watching carefully for any change in its movement.
The biggest concern, obviously, would be if the storm were to track just a little farther west than what we're forecasting and present a threat of a direct hit, say, on the eastern shore of North Carolina, and then later on this weekend, the threat for impact up in southern New England.
And an evacuation of any part of the east coast of the U.S. would not be an easy task.
Well, since they haven't had to do one in quite some time, there's a certain amount of difficulty there. And then when you add a large tourist surge to the population, that also makes it very difficult.
Tourist surge is right, as this storm could make its impact on the last big holiday weekend of the summer, an impact that will be felt even if evacuations are not necessary.
If it stays right on the forecast track, we still have considerable large waves, rip currents, beach erosion concerns, and with all the people that will be at the beaches, that becomes a potentially life-threatening situation.
Direct hit or not, FEMA is not taking any chances.
So we have teams either deployed or deployable to each state from the Carolinas north to Maine. Currently, we have a team that has deployed into the state of North Carolina to support them. If that becomes necessary, we have additional teams designated for each state.
As for Earl's impact on us, as Steve just mentioned, we will certainly see some rough seas, but the Bahamas will really break down the largest swells emanating towards South Florida, so we won't see the kind of impact that most of the east coast of the United States will see. That's a look at the latest.